So this is a class that I called Meditation Basics, and it's a series that I developed when I was living in California, and I'm really happy to be able to offer it here in Connecticut, where I've been staying for the last year. This particular set of classes I'm calling Journey to Stillness, because in every class we'll be doing some stillness or shamatha meditations. And this is class 2, but some of you were here last week, and each class is kind of independent in of itself, so no worry, we'll just be covering a little bit of different stuff. But I want to start with a meditation because I think it's really nice, after whatever else has been going on today, whatever else has been going on this week, to get in touch with first just the feeling of meditation in a very simple way before we start talking about it or sharing our experiences. We do so much talking, we do so much conceptualizing. And there's something about joining together to just get in touch with that sweet feeling before we get going that I think anchors our intention of what is it exactly that we're doing here together. So looks like there's a lot of good sitting positions here. In a chair is great, on the floor is great. The main thing is that your lower body is relaxed and anchored, and that your spine is nice and straight. So I'd recommend that you try sitting on something a little bit higher, which will allow the hips to be more comfortable. Do you want to try the red pillow?
Sure. Sounds good.
So the idea is that if your hips are higher than your knees, it allows the front of your hip joints to open up, and it allows your spine to rise up straight. So many of us are tight in our low backs or tight in the hips, and if we try to just, fold up like a pretzel and sit right on the ground, there's going to be a little bit of this going on. So, so raising the butt up is really good, and then from there, engage the belly a little bit, lift up through the top of the head until you feel the spine growing really long out of the pelvis. And then take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just let the shoulders fall away from the ears. So we hold those shoulders up all day, but here can let them go. The hands are relaxed on the knees or the thighs, somewhere where you can forget about them. Shoulders are level. The bottom of your chin is parallel to the ground, so your head's not tipped forward, not tipped back. Eyes are softly closed, usually for group meditation, or cracked open a little bit. If you're a little sleepy, you may want to let a little light in. Jaw is relaxed, lips just softly touching. And now if you've found a position with your body that you can comfortably hold for a little while, just let the body go. Let it settle into the ground. Feel any remaining tension flowing off you like water off a duck's back. No tension in the face, no tension in the hands or the hips. Notice your breath. No need to force it, but if it wants to become just a little bit deeper or just a little bit evener, let it become that. So that's the position of your body. Now, what about the position of your mind? Try telling yourself, look, I've just sat down to meditate for just a few minutes. And drop all your other concerns, like putting down a heavy backpack and sinking into a comfortable chair. All those daily concerns, They're there when you're done with meditation, ready to be picked up if you want to. But no need to carry them through these next 10 minutes. And as you sit here in this beautiful building, surrounded by other people who've made the commitment to try to meditate, to try to find happier and more peaceful minds, feel a sense of well-being. Notice something that feels good in your environment. Maybe you're warm, so you're happy that there's a fan on. Maybe you've been running around all day, so it feels really good to sit still. Whatever good you can find, whatever it is for you, drink it in. And then find something in your body that feels good as well. So often we'll focus on that one little part of the back that's twinging. What about the rest of the body? Maybe your cheeks feel good, or maybe your left calf feels really good. Whatever it is, find it and drink it in. Let all those levels of goodness fill your mind and color your experience. Meditation feels good. Now bring your mind more fully into your body, allowing it to roam around and take in all the different sensations. The air on your skin, the pressure on your feet or ankles of the ground. The feel of your clothing, the cushion. Don't try to direct your attention, just let it flow, whatever catches its interest. And now bring your attention in a little closer to just the sensations in your body that are related to the process of breathing. Maybe feelings in the belly or the chest, on the upper lip or the edges of the nostrils. Maybe you feel the shoulders rising and falling. But as you do this, try to keep a sense of embodiment and a sense of place. So while attention is focused on the belly or the nose, you're still in your body as a whole. And you're still aware of the room, of the cushion, of the air, of any sounds in the area. See if you can hold those two kinds of awareness. Broad attention, focus, narrow focus and broad awareness. And keeping these levels of awareness of the room, your body, your breath, pick just one place, whether it's the belly or whether it's the edge of the nostrils or the upper lip. A small point of focus where you can really feel the sensations of the breath. If it helps to breathe a little more deeply to facilitate this, you can do that too. Narrowing that attention like focusing a lens or a telescope or a microscope. Drinking in the details of that point of focus, while at the same time maintaining your sense of place, your global awareness. The mind wanders, just bring it back, and let's do 10 breaths together like this. Depth and detail of focus, broad perspective and awareness. And now, like changing the focus of that lens of the mind, bring your awareness back out to encompass your entire body. All those sensations available. Now bring it out wider so that you're embracing everything that's present in this moment. The sounds, the smells, the sensations of the body, the vibrations, temperature, And slowly start deepening and lengthening your breath, wiggling your fingers and toes to bring the energy back into the periphery of the body. And before you open your eyes, just check in with your body one more time and see if you were holding tension anywhere. So this is a great moment to learn what to watch out for next meditation. So like I feel like my shoulders could soften back a little and my chest could rise. Duly noted. Okay, nice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Any thoughts or reactions to the experience of that meditation? Different from what you're used to? Similar? First time you ever tried it? Yeah. First time?
First time.
So that kind of a meditation is it's working on a skill that we're going to talk about in class today, which is this idea of keeping both attention and perspective at the same time. Very useful for life, and we'll talk about why as well. But so it's kind of a form of a vipassana or insight meditation. Maybe you've heard the term vipassana. It's one of the common types of meditation. But it's also a stillness meditation. It's focusing, it's both a concentration meditation and a sort of mindfulness, general awareness. So we kind of hit a lot of different points there. So the idea of this kind of meditation is by slowing the mind down and becoming more aware of your surroundings and your body, you open yourself up to a shift in how we relate to ourselves, our bodies, our emotions, and also to the world, to the things that happen in each moment when we're not meditating. So we're training the brain to be in a state of mindfulness, to be in a state of staying present with our own emotions and sensations, both on the cushion and, if we, get into a, fender, what do you call it? Fender, I would say bumper bender, fender bender, like being able to stay in the body, see what the body's doing, what the emotions are doing, and at the same time be aware of the larger situation, the ramifications, the consequences, the needs of other people. So this is sort of leading into what I believe really strongly about meditation, which is that everything that we do on the cushion has a great potential to translate into every moment of the rest of our lives. So in that way, that image of, a hermit in a cave that just spends their whole life meditating is not that applicable for our modern world, right? For us and in our lives, we may have strong spiritual practices, we may have strong yoga practices or prayer practices, but where the rubber hits the road with those practices are they changing our lives? Are they changing our relationships, giving us better quality relationships? Are they giving us greater self-understanding? Not in just these, waves of bliss and transcendental meditation moments, but in, can I be aware during the difficult times? Can I breathe through my anger? Can I recognize, where my anxiety is coming from by engaging these skills of inward reflection that I've gained during my meditation practice. So the teacher, Upasaka Kuladasa, who I'm going to be talking about today, it's one of my more recent meditation teachers who leads meditations of this type. He was talking about how meditation, the Buddha said, this process, this path that you go through, it's good in the beginning, it's good in the middle, and it's good in the end. And which is kind of a relief, right? and so he was talking about a little bit from his own experience, and he's been meditating for 40 years. He's a very advanced practitioner, very wonderful, down-to-earth guy as well. And you know, the immediate benefits, and I've found this, at least this much I've found myself, is that immediately when you start meditating, you have the opportunity for your concentration to be better in all areas of your life. There will be more clarity of mind, more ability to be able to sort through the jumble of what's going on in there, more self-knowledge, decreased reactivity to situations in terms of those knee-jerk reactions, more freedom, because we're not being run by those instinctive emotions and by the same old patterns that we've run through our whole lives. We're able to sort of take a little bit of a perspective on ourselves and a perspective on a situation that comes from observing our own mind. And then in the middle, as my teacher said, you have the ability to become someone who's truly mindful all the time and in every moment. And the power of that kind of mind is being able to really see in a situation what would be best for the other person, what would be the best possible outcome, and how can I make this happen? Or how is the way that I'm thinking and reacting, how does that really line up with who I want to be? So in each situation, we can be checking in with the kind of life that we want and the kind of self that we want, and have the level of control over our mind that we can actually act in a way that helps that, instead of sort of randoming around and creating, you know, all sorts of chaos that may or may not reflect the kind of life that we want to lead, the kind of person we want to be. And then the end of the path of meditation is this true insight into reality and self, this full awakening that they talk about in all the spiritual texts. So we talked a lot about the benefits of meditation last week, but because there's a lot of wonderful new faces, I like to talk about it in every class, because for me it's like, okay, great, now I really am excited about meditation all over again. And every practitioner will have a different way of talking about it, because it's experiential, right? You know, so meditation it's a journey, it's a path. It's something that we're taking up as a regular practice to gradually evolve the mind. It was funny, I was talking to my cousin about meditation, and she said, oh yeah, my husband and I, we went to this meditation workshop this one weekend, but and then I went home and tried it, and I don't know, I think the workshop didn't work because I still wasn't good at meditation. I was like, okay, let's see. You're a competitive triathlete, right? The first time someone showed you how to ride a bike, did you then go home and win a triathlon? And meditation's the same way. And I think it's important to sort of connect in with that, because it's sort of, it feels like it could be, you know, just a knowledge base. Okay, I went to a meditation class, they handed me this piece of knowledge about how to meditate, and now I can meditate. But it's a practice tradition. So it all comes down to, are we willing to do this over and over? And that's how the neuroscientists are saying that we can actually change our minds, change the whole way that we interact with the world, is through a regular, repeated repatterning of our thoughts and repatterning of our actions. So it's fitting right in, and we're going to be talking about some neuroscientific stuff today, because so much of that brain science that's going on now is just backing up the meditation traditions that have been going on for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years. So, for instance, what is this thing that we were doing about both focusing the attention on the breath and trying to keep this general awareness of the space? This is a practice that works with, in a way you could say, the two sides of the brain. So there's a lot of activities that people who want to be more creative, want to be more integrative, want to have better problem-solving skills, try to do to work with both sides of the brain at the same time, or get both hemispheres of the brain to be working together. And it's interesting to think about this technique in that way. Dr. Ian McGilchrist, this wonderful British neuroscientist, was talking in a lecture about the way that animals and birds are naturally using the two hemispheres of their brain at the same time. So if you picture a little bird who's sitting on your driveway and trying to pick up the little pieces of breadcrumbs that you brushed out of your car when you were eating a muffin on the way home and you wanted to not have your daughter tell that you were eating a muffin in the car. So you brush it out onto the driveway. There's little crumbs sitting on the driveway. And the bird has to be very attentively focused in order to pick out, you know, the little brown and tan pieces of muffin as opposed to the little rocks and the stones and the pieces of leaves on the driveway. And that's very good for the bird because birds have to eat. In fact, it seems like they eat all the time because they're so small and energetic. But at the same time, in order to survive, the bird has to be able to be aware, is there a cat in the area that's running up? Is there a car coming down the driveway? Is one of my little birdie friends sending one of those strange birdie signals that says, you know, there's a hawk in the area? So there has to be this global awareness at the same time in order to be able to have a sense of place, have a sense of what's going on around me, and also what is the thing that I'm really fascinated with that I know I've decided to pay attention to, which is this yummy muffin crumbs. So I was pretty humbled when I heard that because I was like, oh, okay, so my main meditation practice in the last like 8 months has been at the level of a bird trying to get a meal on the driveway. Okay, very humbling. But we are so left brain dominant in this particular kind of culture, and we're so, we prioritize attention. And attention is a really, really good thing. If you want to be able to sit down and balance the checkbook, if you want to be able to sit down and write a proposal for work, if you want to be able to, you know, focus on what someone is saying to you and really, you know, and really listen and make minute reactions in that moment, then we have to have a really good level of attention or focus or concentration, right? But in this more sort of holistic, global way, it also really helps to have perspective. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about mindfulness. So with mindfulness, you might be, you know, you might be doing one activity and you're focusing on that, but at the same time, you're aware of your body, the relaxation of your body, you're aware of other people, you're aware of feelings like gratitude, you're aware of the place that you're in. And that kind of mindfulness is based on this ability to keep not just attention, but also peripheral awareness. So think about it like vision. It's very, very similar to the difference between focused vision and peripheral vision, which we need both, right? So a good way to test this is if you pick one point and just pick a point and look at it very focused and attentively. And as you focus on that one point, notice how much information you're receiving in your peripheral vision. Okay, now take that same laser-like focus and move it around very quickly. Try to see a whole series of different things in the room. And notice how little peripheral vision really has time to develop or comes into play when the visual attention is jumping all around the room. Same thing with the mind. So usually the way that we get a sense of what's going on is our mind is jumping around from thing to thing and trying to put together a picture of reality through that. But if we focus the mind like we try to do in meditation, we have a whole nother part of our brain that's just waiting to take on that sort of holistic role that's actually a lot more effective. So, in meditation, when we talk about stilling the mind, it really is about not stopping thoughts altogether, but because that's actually, it's impossible. The mind has to hold something or other. But it's bringing the mind into one thought or one set of sensations, like the breath, or one object, like a picture that you're looking at or envisioning in your mind. And then allowing, through that focused attention, allowing the whole of the present moment to enter your larger awareness. So, in terms of life, one way to think about this is, if you're in a conversation with someone and they say something that's really angering to you or really hurtful, what does the mind do? It focuses on that one particular thing and how it relates to me, and there's this collapse of awareness. This is the way that we can ruin years-long relationships through a couple of choice words, because we lose the perspective. All the times when this person didn't piss me off, all the ways that this relationship is valuable to me, all the, situation of, that my boss might be in the next room as I'm screaming at this person, all of that level of awareness of the emotional landscape, the physical reality that you're in, the past with this other person, the future that maybe you'd like to have with this other person, that all collapses into this one moment of strong emotion. And then, and then what do we say afterwards? What was I thinking? Why did I do that? I lost control. I lost my temper. I lost my mind. I'm so sorry. I just wasn't myself. And this has to do with this total collapse of that mindfulness and that awareness. We're also losing mindfulness of, okay, is that strong emotional reaction coming specifically from what that person said? Or is it coming from a sort of layer of past emotional responses to things which were maybe a little bigger and a little more hurtful that just reminded me of? So we lose this awareness on all levels, in terms of time, in terms of space, in terms of emotion relation, and in terms of self-knowledge. So that's one reason that developing this sense of mindfulness, developing this larger awareness can be really useful off the cushion as well. To be able to just have that moment where you say, okay, I feel that really strong emotion, I feel that really hurtful thing coming towards me, that strong emotion coming back, but what is really the wisest thing to do here? Who am I really that I would like to be? Who is this person to me, and how do I want to move forward with them? So again, just a way that meditation is training the mind to be able to have this anchor of attention like the breath, but also be able to just be aware of your entire circumstances, your holistic place in your body and in your world at the same time. It's all about context, right? Keeping that sense of context. So, questions? Does that strike a chord or bring up any thoughts?
I'm having a really unusual experience right now.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching an aura around you.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's actually the first time that and it keeps shifting. It's fascinating.
Cool. What color is it?
It's more of a white light, and it keeps shifting. But I thought, well, maybe it had something to do with the sun, but it's not.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it is awesome.
Thank you for sharing that.
So it's really like a light show.
All right. Wow, one meditation and you're in touch with the subtlest energetic levels of reality. That's awesome. You were born for this. I'm so happy you're here. Great. Yeah. Todd is a meditator and a meditation teacher as well. Have you worked with this sense of attention and peripheral awareness in any of your meditations?
In some of the meditations, we'll start with self, move into the room, and then move into the rest of the world, but not so much in the contraction expansion method that we were kind of doing here. Like I noticed while I was doing meditation, on my inhale, that's when I would kind of expand out more, and then on the exhale, that's when I would go back into the abdomen. I couldn't maintain both thoughts at the same time, but I was able to oscillate between the two.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it definitely takes practice. And one of the things that that I really love about this particular meditation teacher that we're working with is that he's a PhD neuroscientist as well. So it's a little bit of a different take on meditation than I've gotten before, but it backs up a lot of the more traditional I've studied in terms of the yoga texts, and I've studied Tibetan Buddhist meditation extensively and have been doing that for most of the last 6 years. It's just in this last 8 or 9 months working with this other kind of meditation is sort of opening things up a little bit for me, so I'm happy to be able to share that with you.
One thing that struck me, I was listening to this and thinking about how helpful it is if you have difficult people you need to deal with, like my boss, and just someone who's very, very reactive and very difficult, and it just upsets a lot of people, and include not me so much, because I think this has helped me be able to kind of step back and breathe, pause, not like react to him, and because there always is someone difficult, it seems like. So.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, her stories. And she's been taking my meditation classes online while I was living in California, and it's very inspiring to hear her stories about how she's actually applying it at work and in these difficult situations. So this leads into kind of the practical meditation advice for this particular class, which is about finding the right kind of space for meditation. And it's helpful to know a little bit about how the mind works and what's going to make you have the best chance for a good meditation versus what's going to increase the kind of problems that come up, like the mind flying all over the place. And so if you think about a good place for meditation, in this particular model, a totally, absolutely silent place is not as helpful to start in. Because if you have something, whether it's, occasional whoosh of traffic or wind through the trees or some trickling water or, other people kind of walking around in the house, it gives you something to be able to tell. Are you keeping that global awareness, that peripheral awareness? Whereas if there's nothing else, if there's no other object for the mind to go to check, like Todd was doing, kind of going back and forth to say, okay, I'm focused, I'm aware, I'm focused, I'm aware, then it's really easy to go into that, oh, I'm concentrating so hard, I'm concentrating so hard. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, I was concentrating so hard, everything sort of collapses. You know that feeling. That happens to me sometimes when I meditate when I wait too late, I meditate before bed. I'm like, oh, I should always meditate before bed. I'm having such a good meditation, I'm so quiet. Focused. Oh, what? so having a little bit, we have this trickling water thing outside the window, which really helps. But in general, we want the space to feel really safe. So nice sort of continuous noise or a little bit of noise is helpful. Really loud, aggressive, aggravating noises that the mind leaves the object and flies off to make sure there isn't any danger, that's going to set yourself up for problems in the meditation. And I've had a meditation practice while living in New York City and Los Angeles, and there was a lot more of that than there is here now personally. So I feel very fortunate about that. But one of the things that the mind does is this peripheral awareness, like in the case of the bird, it's scanning for danger. Now we're using it, we're repurposing it in a way that is a little bit more pleasant, a little more holistic, but it's going to be set off by any kind of noises or any kind of feelings of, being interrupted or sort of instability in your seating position or pains in the body. Anything that the mind thinks, okay, this might be something dangerous, it will go and investigate. And it'll pull attention away as well. So you have this larger awareness, and if something comes in, like the screech of the brakes of a car on the road, then attention moves from your breath out to see what that is. And then it can stay there for quite a long time if you don't bring it back, thinking, well, I wonder what that was. Should I go out to the street to find out? Or should I, I didn't hear them hit anything. And the mind then goes on to a whole train of thought beyond that. So the process of meditation is really about noticing when the mind leaves the object and gently bringing it back. Being aware, being focused on the breath, being aware of the larger world. Sometimes sounds or sensations from your body or the larger world will come in and take over attention. And as soon as you can, just release that and bring the mind back to whatever it was that you had sat down to meditate on, whether it's the breath or whether it's a more sort of emotional meditation like the second one we're going to do today. So when you set up your space to meditate in, you want to be reducing as many of those kinds of distractions as possible. So the first thing is to find a comfortable sitting position, because the body is going to complain, especially if meditation is new or sitting on the floor is new. So checking in with your own body and saying, well, there isn't one meditation position that's good for everybody. Some people, like people with more open hips, have trouble sitting on really high cushions like this. It's just not comfortable. So even, being in the biggest, highest, squishiest sort of cushion or in a chair is not going to work for some people. I'm so used to being on the ground, I'm less relaxed in a chair right now. So finding something that works for you, that works for your body. If you have a history of knee injuries, or if you tend to have a weak low back, it can be good to start in a chair. Again, so that thing that's calling for your attention, the whole meditation, can be eased, can be relaxed. A place where you feel safe in terms of not getting interrupted, a place and a time, or working it out with people in your household where you're not constantly thinking, oh, the door's going to open and someone's going to need something. So either, if you have kids, maybe trying to do it either while they're at school or before they get up in the morning. If you have a spouse or roommates, being able to say, hey, I'm going to go and meditate for the next half hour. Is there anything you need before I go? Finding a way to create, right? Because space is it's about emotional and mental space. It's about your physical space. It's about time. So creating a sort of emotional kind of safety. And this is another reason why we're so fortunate to be in a fairly quiet, safe place in the country, where we're not worried that someone's going to run a bus into the building, or that there's going to be gunfire outside in the street or things like that. So we can be grateful that we're set up to have that sense of safety being in this part of the country and in this country. And then what is the environment like? So the air quality, the level of light, all of this can affect your meditation practice. So if you just woke up and you sit down and meditate and the room's all like stuffy and kind of humid, post-sleepy, you're more likely to just go back into that sleepy state. So thinking about, okay, what do I need to do to make this space fresh? Do I need to open a window? Do I need to let more light in? The general rule with meditation is if it's brighter, then you're more likely, your mind, even just the light that comes in through the eyelids or the light that comes in at the bottom, if you keep them cracked open a little bit, that's going to help your mind be brighter and more energetic. But if you tend towards distraction, you tend towards having this very active mind, the monkey mind they call it in Indian and Tibetan meditation, then you may want to think about like a dimmer kind of candlelit room that allows your focus to come in. A sort of warmer, cozy space might work better for you. Having what you need to be comfortable around you. As you see, I've got my whole, I've got my cup of tea just in case I need tea. I have a little clock. I like to set a timer because I can relax if I know that, in half an hour, 15 minutes, 45 minutes, something is going to tell me, okay, you can pick up the rest of your life now. Your meditation time is over. And until that point, I can let my mind relax into the space. So a clock or a timer, have a little wrap or shawl for if it gets cold, because as soon as you stand up to, oh, now I need to go to the bathroom, oh, now I need to go get a drink of water, whatever sort of stillness or space you've created in that moment then gets overturned. And then there's the idea of finding a space in your home that is your little meditation corner. And as I was talking about in the beginning about how neuroscience is talking about the habituation of the mind is the way that you make new patterns, the way that you can actually rewire the brain. It's the same thing with the idea of meditating at the same time of day, every day, or meditating in the same place. Your mind will start to go into that groove of, okay, this is the time when I'm still and quiet. You have all those associations layered in. And even when you walk by, say it's just a little corner of your bedroom or a little corner of your living room, every time you walk by it, you're like, oh yeah, meditating. Gotta do that. and it'll start becoming a little more of a draw or a pull. And there's different ways to do this, some of us are fortunate enough to have houses with multiple rooms where, areas can be cordoned off a little more. If you've got a lot of family or if you've got a small apartment, it may just be one picture on the wall that makes you feel meditative, and you just take your cushion out of the closet and put it on the ground in front of that picture. So it doesn't even have to be separate, but something where you're going to it every day. And it gets the mind primed and ready. And then having some sort of altar is really common in a lot of traditions. And it doesn't have to be a statue of the Buddha. It doesn't have to be a picture of Mary or Christ. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. It's what you connect with. So it could be, a picture of someone in your family who inspires compassion and the desire to meditate and to calm your mind so that you can have a better relationship with them, or someone from your past, a teacher of yours who's inspired you. It could just be, some rocks and flowers from outside. But part of the sort of juice of having an altar is, again, that you have seen yourself take the time to actually put something together to encourage yourself to meditate. And then it's there, and then you see it, and you come back to it every day, and it's, again, just informing your mind, creating that habit. And the act of dusting off the altar or refreshing the flowers or setting out a candle or a bowl of water, that's part of the groove that you go through in your daily meditation practice that signals, okay, it's time to slow the mind down. It's time to get into that more mindful place. And that's all creating a space in terms of time and a buffer around your meditation practice. So maybe you meditate in the morning. You want to have something that brings you out of sleepy mind and into meditation mind. And that may be taking a brisk walk, it may be having a cup of tea, taking a shower. Then you may go and, refresh the altar or light a candle, set up your cushion, put your special meditation shawl on that you really like. And all of that is getting the mind ready to meditate. Then you meditate, and then afterwards see if you can just give a couple of minutes to mindfully start moving around through space. Don't immediately start checking text messages or getting on the phone. And you're creating this safe zone around meditation, allowing that mind state to have a chance to really lock in, and then encouraging it to start moving forward into the rest of the day as well. If meditating in the morning isn't an option and you want to do it in the afternoon or the evening, for me, I really, really need something to create a space between work or email and sitting down to meditate. So again, that may, for me, be a yoga practice or some sort of physical exertion, kind of reset the mind through doing something different with the body. Or it may be going for a walk, even if it's just to walk down the driveway and look at the trees. Something so that the exact mind state that had been so useful all day where you checked your email doesn't just continue over that barest of borders into your meditation time. Because I have definitely had meditations where I checked my email the whole time that I was meditating. And it's not fun. Like my mind is just going, oh, did I get back to that person? And oh, did I, it's like scrolling through my mental inbox. And, there's nothing wrong with email, but when we commit to having something like a meditation practice, we're saying this time is sacred. And, the etymology of the word sacred means set apart. So whatever your spiritual or religious beliefs, the idea of meditation being sacred is you said, well, there's something that's important and precious about this. And it's important enough to carve out the time, whether it's 15 minutes a day. Then it's also important enough to carve out the time around the time in order to actually have a shot at success during those 15 minutes. And it's important to, carve out the space in my home. And, maybe as time goes on, you'll find that your meditation practice is actually encouraging other things to change as well. Like, realizing that, wow, every time I eat something really sugary and fatty, my meditation is just really, bad. Maybe I should think about sort of how that affects my mind the rest of the day. And maybe I want to move towards a diet that's like a little bit cleaner because I see what that does to my mind. And I see how I'm able to be in my life and in my relationships when my mind is in that clearer state. So it's warning. It may start as 15 minutes, but one of the things that's so amazing about the path of meditation, when you let it, is that it really does flow out to inform your whole day and your whole life. And it'll be different for all of us, but whatever we're habituating for in meditation, we have an opportunity of that being more readily available in the rest of life. So maybe your meditations are all about stilling the mind and watching the breath. Then that's something that is going to become easier for you in your life. Maybe your meditations are about developing compassion and gratitude and meditating on all the people in your life who are so precious. Then you have a better shot of meditation changing your interpersonal relationships in those ways, because you're forming your mind around those thoughts of compassion and gratitude. So you get what you practice for, right? Meditation is a practice. And the practice comes into fruition, not just in meditation, but in the rest of life. So I wanted to give you some scriptural references for this kind of thing, and these are kind of fun. These are written around the same time, around 1400, 1500, in Tibet and in India, about where to meditate, a good place to meditate. So the Tibetan Buddhist writer Jason Kappa says, the place where intelligent people practice should have things that are easy to find. It should be a good place with a good environment, a place where good friends stay, with all the practitioner needs with ease. So that relates to everything that we were just saying, right? You want to have things that are easy to find. So you want to have your water and your wrap and everything like that. Make it easy on yourself. Should be a good place in that you feel safe there. You're comfortable, your body is comfortable, the temperature is good, the lighting is good. And a good environment, you know, that the air quality is good, that you're not being distracted by crazy noises. There should be good friends there, and I read that as in the people who are sharing your space are in some way supportive of your meditation practice, and they're not just going to barge in and say, you know, what are you doing? You're trying to be quiet? Huh? Pay attention to me, pay attention to me. So, and so it's a little bit of a challenge to try to create that kind of space. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika, an Indian text from around the same time, says, and this is a little more specific to India, I guess. The Hatha yogi should live in a secluded hut, free of stones, fire, and dampness, to a distance of 4 cubits in a country that is properly governed, virtuous, prosperous, and peaceful. No, but think about this. What is it saying? You're going to meditate on the ground. Don't have stones. Why? Because you want to be comfortable. It's applicable. Free of fire and dampness. You don't want it to be too hot. You don't want it to be dangerous. You want the air quality to be good. It's in a land that's safe. It's in somewhere where, you know, armed men aren't going to burst through the door while you're trying to meditate. And it's 4 cubits away, as in you're also not right in the middle of New York City. It works. The grounds are enclosed by a wall and beautified by an arbor, a raised platform, and a wall. So this is the idea of the beauty of the place can inspire your meditation as well. So, you know, maybe you want to meditate by a window at this time of year, you know, with, instead of having a picture in front of you, having a glorious spread of autumn colors. Something inspirational, but also something that's a little bit set apart. So if out your window, there's also a whole lot of neighbors running around, you know, what are they doing? You know, are they cutting down that tree? Is that on their property or my property? Then you don't want to be looking out the window. So again, just creating the best possible environment for yourself. I want to do a meditation on that to try to allow us all to get in touch with what kind of space we might feel would work for ourselves. Because if we can start to visualize it in meditation, then we know kind of what actions to take in order to try to actually create that space in our home or create that emotional space in our lives. And there's a benefit to this kind of meditation as well in terms of you know, the emotions and neuroscience, which if you're able to have a place that you can visualize that feels very safe, even if you haven't created that space in your actual life, it's a way of forming the mind around and growing these qualities of safety. And when you go to that place mentally, it helps you bring in the guards of the mind that are constantly going, you know, what's going to happen now? What should I be doing? Should I be doing something else? Is someone calling me? Is someone emailing? And just gently sort of brings all those scattered energies of the mind in and says, it's okay, you know, we're safe now. We're safe in this place we're meditating, or we're calm in this visualization, and we can use the full power of the mind on the meditation. So it's a way of using emotions to help the mind stay focused. Does that make sense? Questions or comments about that, and then we'll do a stretch break, and then we'll do a nice meditation based on that. Yeah.
I've got to ask you this to get it out of the way. Many years ago, I took the courses in transcendental meditation. Mm-hmm. And I was given a mantra.
Yeah.
So now, if I start doing this,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to get back to meditation, but is that going to interfere?
No.
I mean, I really felt that it was very efficient at the time because it worked very effectively.
Yeah.
Because they said that thoughts will go through your mind, but you just sort of let them go through. But I found that the mantra was not just a mental, but a physiological, not trick, but
Yeah.
something to do this for you to complete the dual things that you need to do in meditation. So I just want to see what you have to say about that.
Well, mantra meditations can be really helpful, especially if you've been given a mantra by a teacher or in a course and it's something that you individually connect with. And the mantra in that case can take the place of the breath. So you can still do the exact same meditation that we did in the beginning, but after you've gone through these different levels of awareness, instead of having your main point of attention be the feeling of the breath moving at the nose, you can, if you feel like that's good for you, you can then start saying the mantra over and over and allow that to be the main focus while keeping this sense of general awareness, of body awareness, of place and time as well.
Well, I found that our initial meditation here, our short meditation, was very good. I felt like I went right into the same place.
Nice.
But that really slows your breath down. To me, it really makes for a very much slower intake, it doesn't sound good, but it's a very shallow breathing.
In this meditation we just did, or the mantra meditation?
No, what I went into today was, I did some deep breaths, but then I went right into the very, quiet, very shallow kind of thing where you don't really feel like you're breathing that much. That's the part that they say was supposed to, slow your heartbeat and, supposed to have a lot of physiological effects.
Yeah, if you're feeling that as a relaxed, like not a shallow, like kind of
not a short nose breath, but
just a natural,
real,
relaxed, easy breath. Yeah, so maybe now is a good time to just try that kind of meditation that we did today, and see how that works. And if you find a way to integrate the mantra, then that's great. Or if this is better, different meditations will work at different times in our lives,
Because I won't have your voice at home.
Well, you can.
You know what I mean?
Actually, you can. So I'm not only broadcasting this, but I'm also recording the audio. So I'm happy to email the files to you guys if you'd like, and I can get your emails out of the computer, and I can also send you a transcription of the meditation if it's better to have the paper in front of you to do it yourself. So I'm sorry I didn't offer that last week, but I can send you the stuff from last week too. And that, to me, when I'm learning a new meditation, I find it helpful to listen to it a couple of times, but then to also have just a couple of bullet points in front of me so I can sit down and I can do the meditation myself. And if there's something that I need to review or whatever, I can open my eyes or I can just read it right beforehand. And so I'm happy to provide you guys with any of those kind of tools if that's helpful. So just let me know afterwards, because I don't want to email you without your permission. The idea of the anchor for the mind, this place where we're putting our attention, the best things to use to anchor the mind are real-time sensations. And in that way, it can be better than a mantra, which is sort of another kind of thought, but there's a lot of benefits to mantra meditation as well. As you were saying, it can get to a deeper level of the brain than conceptual thought, all this different stuff. But the thing that's nice about the sensations of the body, or the feeling of an emotion in your heart, or the sensations of the breath, is that it gives you something that's both continuous and changing over time. And so it allows your mind to become absorbed in it and follow it, but also if you go away, you have something to check back into, because like the breath is always going. So you know you have an anchor to come back to. And it's just interesting enough because of the way that it changes and moves around in the body that you have a little more of a shot of success. But it's not so interesting like telling yourself some big story about the, you know, awesome yoga teacher that you want to become in the future and all this, that it becomes this like long conceptual thought that's just like the way that we think, you know, in this evolving, changing, mind flying all over the place sort of way. So it's much simpler than that. But that's not to say that the breath is the only thing to meditate on. So, you know, if you've been given a meditation practice before, you have something that you like, you can still, I guess with these classes, I'm trying to talk about like skills and techniques that have been helpful to me through a variety of different kinds of meditation practices that I've had, and for a variety of different kinds of meditation, contemplation, prayer practices that you guys may already have. So you don't have to do the meditations from the class, but knowing a little bit about the mind or knowing a little bit about what can help in the external environment then allows any kind of meditation practice to be a little more effective.
On that note of the mantras, I mean, you also have, you can combine them with mudras as well, so you do have that as components now, or melodies.
That's true, so you have something physical, your hands moving on the beads. Yeah, yeah, nice.
That's how I work.
Any other questions, comments? So our next meditation is going to be another sort of 10 to 15 minute one, so I want to give you guys the opportunity to just stand up, stretch a little bit if anyone needs to go to the bathroom. Are you guys warm? Should I put a little bit of air on? You want air? Yes? A little bit of air? Okay, that'll keep us awake. We've talked about environment, so a little cool air. Now that the sun, I got a little bit sleepier when the sun went away, huh? It's interesting how the change, these external changes, change the quality of the mind. Have you guys meditated before?
I have. I'm a neophyte though. You know, I'm looking for a little bit of the techniques to help, you know, to get me into a regular practice. Because at this point, I've just sort of been doing it every once in a while, and it's always something that's in the back of my mind that I'd like to continue to do, but I haven't really found a successful way to do that yet.
Yeah.
So I have to do it with a candle, which I find is a nice thing to concentrate on. With the sound of running water.
Right. And those have similar qualities of being both the same and changing as the breath. So you always can check back. So you can also kind of follow it in a stream. It's not like looking at a rock or something like that. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
how about you?
So you look at the candle?
Yeah, it's called Tratika in the yoga tradition. It's a form of eyes open meditation. Sometimes when I'm really sleepy, I do like an eyes open meditation on the trees or the sky, because all of that light and that sensation helps the mind. It gives the mind something a little more concrete to be focused on. Have you tried meditation?
I have, but not in a formal way, just sort of, you know, an internal way.
I'm really glad you guys are here.
Thanks for doing it.
Fortunately, whatever they're doing, they like don't.
There it is.
I've never been to a class here where they were actually actively doing anything for construction.
It's strange, but yeah, we can kind of go on or off times. Like lunch breaks go before they get to work on it.
Yeah.
I saw someone standing out there today and I said, no, not during a meditation class, but I don't know, I guess he was just standing out there.
How did you get into meditation?
I needed a little bit of sense of getting a handle on my mind, and I was invited to go to some Buddhist meditation classes and lectures in New York City, done by the New Kadampa group, which they have a center in Connecticut. And it was really, really great because it was kind of similar to this kind of class in that it had two guided meditations, and then it sort of talked about the philosophy of Buddhism and the philosophy of meditation. So it gave my mind something like, ooh, interesting information, but also the chance to calm down. And so then at that point, I started a regular short meditation practice at home and also a daily yoga practice. And I just found I was much more able to make healthy choices and listen to my body and listen to my mind and not just get caught up in that crazy New York City thing where I was exhausting myself and running around all the time and getting stressed out. And it was amazing to find it in New York City just for that reason. And I found a really great yoga center at the same time. So it gave me something to be, oh, sanity, I can, it's something to hold on to here. Yeah. And then when I moved to California, I was like, oh, everybody's meditating. Oh, okay, well, it's easy out here.
Yeah, that's the same.
Things changing with their practice. Because I had a friend, when we started going to yoga about 6 or 7 years ago, we'd go to yoga at night and then we'd go to Chili's afterwards for like a beer and a drink. Kind of counterproductive. About 3 months in, I didn't go with her. I was going on my own and driving by, I was like, you know what? I don't want that. I went to salad bar at a Stop Shop instead. And it wasn't a conscious decision. It was just like, no, this doesn't fit right in.
Yeah, I found like being able to, because also I was doing massage, and when I first got my Reiki attunement, which was again several years before that, we were supposed to do Reiki self-healing on ourselves every day, and I would start to do it, and I'd be like, I don't want to go out tonight. I want to sleep, actually. And it was just amazing to feel like that my body was actually telling me, no, this is what you really need. Even though my mind sort of felt like, hey, I'm 19, I'm living in Chicago, yeah, let's, try to go out every night, or, so it was this deeper level of awareness that those kind of practices introduced me to, which is just really, really phenomenal. Why don't we close the door and so if you're sitting on a chair, make sure that your feet can be flat on the ground. And if you can't do that with the ground, then you can take, see how Audrey has a rolled up yoga mat, or you can put your feet on the cushion. I don't mind, it's a nice squishy cushion to put your feet on. All right. So again, that sense of feeling like whatever is down is grounded and solid. And also, if your legs are uneven, if you've got one leg crossed, that is then going to make your spine uneven and your shoulders and your head and everything. So starting with the base. And from there, just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, shake the arms out. Roll the shoulders a little. Just let that all settle down. Allow your hands to alight gently on your thighs or knees. Take another deep breath in. Really, really deep. Fill your lungs. Hold it in for just a second, and then slowly exhale all that air. Feeling your shoulders sink down as you do that, and feeling the energy dropping all the way into the hips and legs, rooting you into the chair or cushion, rooting you into the ground. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, just loosen your jaw, loosen your eye muscles, your scalp muscles. Just feel any tension that you're holding in your face, just roll off. And now as you close your eyes here, become aware of everything that is in your global awareness in this present moment. Feel your mind broad and open, like an expansive sky over the desert. Or like a still pool reflecting everything. If it's helpful, you can label sounds. Just say, talking, talking. Labeling emotions, nervous, nervous, content, content. Allow your attention to gently and easily float around this wide open awareness. Letting the mind relax. Taking in as well the sensations of the body. Labeling them if you need to. Pressure, tingling, soreness. Allow them to be what they are, without judgment or trying to fix or change them. And keeping those levels of awareness of the room and the building, of your body. Bring your attention in a more focused way to some part of your body where you feel the breath very easily, whether it's your chest or your abdomen or the edges of your nostrils. And now we'll begin to visualize ourselves in our perfect meditation place. So start with the feeling. Feel a sense of safety, a sense of being supported, both physically, mentally, emotionally, by the space and by the people around it. Feel comfortable and yet inspired. That wonderful middle space of meditation where you feel alert and engaged, and at the same time easy and relaxed. Now in your mind's eye, start visualizing what kind of place might bring those feelings to you. Somewhere where there's no danger of being interrupted or distracted. But maybe there's a little bit of peripheral noise of some sort that you find inspiring and calming. It doesn't matter if it's a place you can get to in real life right now. Maybe you're on a cliff overlooking the sea. Maybe you're on a beach in Hawaii. Let your imagination roam free for now. Or maybe it's a place that you already have right in your home. If you're inside, what kind of room are you in? Inside is good, fewer distractions. Maybe you're on a little beach hut on the beach in Hawaii then. What is the light like? Is it bright, keeping you awake? Or is it dim, making you feel safe and cozy? See if you can get a sense of what might work for you. And where do you feel the most comfortable? Are you in a cozy corner with a wall at your back? Or are you in the middle of a big open space with lots of air circulating around? What are you sitting on that's making you comfortable? Is there something or other that you're wearing that is just perfect for facilitating your meditation? All these things drink in their emotional quality. Safe, comfortable, alert, inspired. This is you meditating. Is the air temperature warm or cool? Some people might feel the movement of the air distracting, whereas other people will feel so much more comfortable with a fan on or a nice breeze through the window. What is it for you? And what objects are in the room to inspire you? Maybe you're facing a big plate glass window that's looking out onto some beautiful vista. Or maybe you've just got a picture of your grandkids up on a simple altar in front of you. Maybe there's a symbol of some sort of spiritual tradition that you feel connected to. Or even a color, a deep turquoise or a rich purple that opens your heart whenever you look at it. Feel yourself in your body, in this space. Your body moving and flowing slightly as you breathe. A sense of groundedness, safeness, a sense of peace. And finally, for this meditation, see if there's someone that you want to bring into the room with you. Maybe just a picture of them, or maybe there's someone that you'd like to sit there with you and share this meditation. It may be someone you can sit with today or tomorrow, or it may be someone who's gone or far away. Let's see if there's a person that makes you feel safe or inspired that you'd want to share this space with, and allow their presence to increase these feelings of security, motivation, bliss. Whether you feel someone's presence beside you or whether you're just basking in the bliss of being alone, drink those feelings in. This is you meditating. And now you can drop the thoughts and drop the visualization. Just hold on to the feelings. Focus on your breath, moving in and out, encased in this sense of warmth, safety, contentment. And slowly start deepening and lengthening your breath. Allowing your attention to spread out to the periphery of your body, to take in the awareness of the whole room if you've lost it. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So there's a couple of things going on in that meditation. One of them is this idea of visualizing a space that might actually work for you in your life, right? Getting hints of what's good for you. Light or dark, warm or cool, indoors or outdoors. And another sense is developing visualization that you can go to when you need to bolster that sense of safety and security. So in that case, you know, those elements of fantasy, like being on a cliff overlooking the ocean or something, you know, might be helpful if that's a place that you find inspiring. In a book that I've been studying, The Buddha's Brain, this meditation uses several strategies that have been, you know, validated by psychology and neuroscience as ways of increasing our feeling of safety and going into more of a relaxation response. So, relaxing the body helps us let go of mental anxiety, right? So first we did the body relaxation. Taking in very deep breaths and then doing a long exhale stimulates the relaxation part of the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. So we did that at the beginning too. The use of imagery connects us with the right hemisphere. So it allows us to get out of that more sort of nitpicky, organizational left brain that we're probably in all day at work and move into this more emotional processing sense. That comes with being in the right hemisphere. The visualizing things that are safe and grounding, as well as visualizing people that remind you of safety or of, you know, positive times in your life, also helps create that sense. And it goes deep into our emotional brain, again, to tell our nervous system to calm down and to come to this place. Because it's not just conceptually saying, I'm safe, if emotionally I'm very nervous. It's going to that emotional level, the next level down, and saying, well, what makes you feel safe? How can I prove to you that you're safe? Well, you know, I say to my mind, I can prove to my mind that I'm safe by, you know, picturing my partner Darren here with me and meditating together, and that's really nice. And verbally telling ourselves what we're feeling, saying those words over and over, safe, grounded, warm, relaxed, it engages the frontal lobe that helps connect with the emotional response in the limbic system, which is allowing both our higher and our emotional brain to feel safe at the same time, right? Visualizing a safe place and saying safe integrates the two parts of the brain. So I didn't want to tell you that beforehand, but it's nice to see that meditations like that, which appear in different traditions, have all of these really valid bases, and when you know them, then you can go into that. And then the other thing that happens is the idea that the safer and more contented that we feel when we meditate, the more likely it is that we'll do it again. And when we do it again, we're going to go to the similar brain pattern of when I sit down, I feel grounded and supported and safe. So as well as with the physical space, with the mental space we go to, we're creating a pattern of habituation. Whenever I walk by that corner in my house, whenever I look at that picture that's on the altar, whenever I put on this particular shawl, whenever I visualize that place that I visualize, these are all things that put my mind in a really good state for meditation and allow a support of happiness and safety to that building of concentration. So that's a meditation that you can try during the week too if you want. Questions or comments or anything to share? No? You like? Yes? Okay, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys being here. It's really enjoyable to have an opportunity to think about these things, and it always helps my own practice and to be able to talk to other practitioners and to share things. So I'm very grateful that you guys are here. And I'm doing one more class next week, and then I'll be away for a couple of months, and then I'll probably do another series in December. And Todd leads a guided meditation on Monday nights. What time?
5:30.
at 5:30, right here at Sustainable Health and Wellness, and that's a free meditation where you can sit down and meditate with Todd, who's a great practitioner. So yeah, I hope you'll take advantage of that. And does anyone not want me to email them the materials for the class? We'll do it that way. Everyone's okay? All right, I will send everyone who is here all the class material, including a transcription of that meditation that we just did too.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.